All right, let's talk about something we all face. Making those really tough tasks, well, feel almost effortless. We're going to break down a really simple, science-backed way to completely redesign how you get motivated. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That report is due, your gym bag is sitting by the door, the textbook is staring at you, but you just can't bring yourself to start. It feels like this invisible wall just pops up, and no matter how much you push, it doesn't budge.
Well, what if I told you that feeling, it's not a character flaw? It's not you being lazy or undisciplined. It's actually a chemical reaction happening inside your brain. And, the chemical that usually gets all the blame for this is a little molecule called dopamine.
Yeah, we hear about dopamine all the time. It's that rush you get from a good meal or from scrolling your phone or finishing a tough workout. It's known as the brain's pleasure chemical. But it turns out that's not quite right. In fact, that's a pretty big misconception. So let's set the record straight. Because understanding what dopamine really does, well, that's the key to tearing down that wall of resistance for good. And the truth is way more interesting than the myth. So the myth is that dopamine is the pleasure, the good feeling. But the reality? Dopamine is the chemical that pushes you to get the pleasure. See the difference? It's not the reward itself, it's the motivation to go get the reward. It's a powerful prediction signal. Your brain is basically a prediction machine. It's constantly scanning the world, trying to figure out what's coming next. It releases dopamine not when you get the prize, but when it thinks you're about to get the prize. It's the anticipation. Think of it like this. Dopamine is the gas in the car, not the place you're driving to. It's the engine that gets you going. Okay, so this is the crucial part. Since dopamine is all about predicting a reward, we can rig the system. We can teach our brain what to get excited about. We can literally build motivation instead of just waiting around for it to show up. And that brings us right back to our problem. That big, scary task you're avoiding, your brain predicts zero reward for starting it. In fact, all it predicts is a lot of hard work and effort. So, of course, there's no dopamine to get you started. The question is, how do we fix that? How do we hack the system? This is where we get to the really practical, hands-on technique. And I promise, it's so simple, so memorable, you can literally start using it the minute this is over. It all boils down to just one number. 5. That's it, just 5 seconds. That is all the time you need to completely rewire the motivation circuit for any task you've been putting off. And here's the secret sauce. You have to intentionally, deliberately engineer a small, immediate reward and link it directly to the first 5 seconds of whatever you're doing. Not an hour in, not when you're finished, right at the absolute beginning. So, how do we actually build this thing? It's a simple, 3-step plan to engineer your own motivation and make starting almost automatic. Okay, step 1. Get super specific about the task you're avoiding. Step 2, pick a reward. And this is so important. It has to be tiny, and it has to be something you actually enjoy. We're talking one piece of your favorite candy, one sip of a fantastic coffee, or even just hitting play on your absolute favorite song. And then step 3, you link that reward so it happens right as you're doing the first tiny bit of the task. Let's make this really concrete. Say you're avoiding writing a report. The 5-second action is just opening the document. That's it. The second you do, you take a sip of that amazing coffee. Or maybe you're putting off a run. The action? Just putting on your running shoes. The reward? The instant you do, you press play on that song that just gets you fired up. Your brain stops focusing on the hour-long run and starts focusing on that little hit of reward it gets just for starting. Now, when you do this over and over, something really cool starts to happen. Your brain builds a new prediction. It learns that, hey, when I open that document, something good happens. Or, when I put on these shoes, I get to hear that great song. Suddenly, that task you've been dreading has a little spike of dopamine right at the beginning, giving you just enough fuel to get moving. The start, it becomes automatic. So, the big takeaway here is this. Stop treating motivation like something you just have to muscle through. Stop using brute force and willpower to smash through that wall. Instead, think of yourself as an architect. Start designing a system of motivation that just pulls you along, almost effortlessly. So, I'll just leave you with this question. Think about that one thing you've been putting off. What tiny, enjoyable reward can you tie to the first 5 seconds of starting it? Seriously, give it a try today. You might be shocked at how easily that wall just disappears.